What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, I've got the coolest knife I've gotten in a long time. You guys have already had a sneak peek of it when I showed you the knives Midgards-Messer sent in. But I'm going to give you a review on this one today. I've previously reviewed the predecessor to this knife. And it wasn't my knife. I didn't get to spend much time with it. It was kind of a here and gone kind of thing. Someone sent it to me. I got to check it out for a day or so. I didn't get to spend any time with it. This is my knife. I've carried this thing 3-4 days now. I have gotten a feel for it. I have fallen in love with this knife. This is the Midgards-Messer Little Viking V2. CPM Crucible D2. 6AL4V titanium. This is just a great knife. The only small issue I've had with it is the pocket clip needs a little bit of a ramp right here. You see how blunt that is right there, right after that lock bar insert, but that's not a big deal. That will break itself in and it'll be easier to get in the pocket. But if that was milled out just a little bit, that would make things a lot better. But this thing is a beast, man, and it feels really good in hand. Big, thick, robust blade stock. This reminds me of my Medford days, man. I forgot how much I love big, overbuilt knives. I get to carrying these smaller, thinner knives, and, you get to liking those, but this is what attracted me to knife collecting in the first place, was a big old beaver knife, man. I really, really like this knife, and for the price, you can't beat it. I mean, this knife is $300. $300 for that beast. And they didn't cut corners anywhere. The action is killer. This one's still breaking in, but it's getting better. Now, you'll notice Midgards-Messer doesn't have, up till now, any flippers. And their knives are not super readily one-handed deployable. This one is kind of undercover one-hand deployable. The reason is, over there in Germany, it's against the law to have a one-hand deployable knife. So now they're making them for the American market, and they have knives like the Berserker. This thing is insane. I can't wait to do the review on this thing. That thing is unbelievable. But anyway, we're talking about the Viking right now. This kind of is Praetorian-esque, it kind of has hints of a Medford Praetorian, but a lot more refined to me, a lot cleaner, a lot more modern look. And I love their logo. I mean, their logo is cool as hell. I noticed that on this one compared to the other one, this one has larger pivots. Pivot screws larger. There's a huge clip on this thing. It just needs a little more ramp on that. The lock bar, look at the lockup on there. It's almost nothing. It's just enough. I mean, you would never travel that lock over that far. Has a lock bar insert, over travel stop. It's got some weight to it, but man, there's give and take on knives like this. I mean, when you know you're carrying a big beaver knife, it's going to have some weight to it. 8.9 ounces. Yeah. She's a beast. So they make a larger version of this, the regular Viking. And I can't even imagine. I haven't had one of those, but I can't imagine. That thing must be huge. 3 1/4 blade. 4 1/2 handle scales. And we're right at just shy of 8 inches. It's got a knurled pommel. Man, that would be really handy. Right there. Super handy. It just feels really good, man. It reminds me of why I started collecting knives, man. I love it. This is going to stay in the channel's collection for a long time. It's just one of my pet peeves. And like I always say, it may need to be this way. But I just think they ought to try to put the lock bar insert on the inside so it doesn't interfere with the pocket clip. Plus, it makes a cleaner look, but definitely not a deal breaker. The fit and finish and the feel of this knife is just so good. They just do a great job, man. feels like it was made for my hand. And D2 is not technically a stainless, but it's got some stainless properties to it. And I would imagine CPM D2 would probably be even a little bit better than that. If you're not familiar with CPM D2 compared to D2, one, it's made by Crucible, which is a killer company. But they kind of ground, for lack of a better term in layman's terms, they grind the steel up into a really fine powder and then heat it back up and forge the steel. So all of the contents of the steel are evenly distributed, where you can get a really nice edge on here. There's not going to be variations in the hardness. It's just a more refined D2, as opposed to an ingot D2. You'll also notice on the V2 versions, which the next generation, I guess, it doesn't say the Viking here. They removed it. On the first generations, it says that they're the large ones and the small ones. But I've been a fan of these since the first day I saw them. A couple of years ago. It was the first time I had anything to do with them, and I've liked them ever since. They're difficult to get. They're made in small batch. I mean, I think the last run of these there was 200 of them. That's not many to go around the knife community, let alone the general public as a whole. Usually these go on sale, and most of us don't even know they went on sale, and they're sold out, and the only place to get them is a secondary. They're working on that with Midgards USA. They're increasing their inventory, and they're doing a better job of that. So, but they can only make so many and still produce this quality. So, I'm a fan. Midgards-Messer Little Viking V2 second generation. Guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps us out. If you want to join our Patreon, the link's in the description. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.